Forex Fortune Hunters, it's Tom Wilmot. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to accomplish 3 or 4 different things. We're going to show you about the real power of interest rate decisions by central banks. We're going to review that premise that was brought up originally in our book, The Amazing Zealander Flytrap Forex Trading System. We're also going to show you 2 templates, 3 events, which you see on the screen behind us now, and also we're going to introduce a new one. I've changed some input values and I want to show you one called Super Gamma really quick. Okay, hold on to your hat. We'll get started right after this. Okay, Fortune Hunters, here we go. This is a chart of the AUD, the Australian dollar, and the New Zealand Kiwi. It's actually a different chart than I typically show you. We're not going to scalp today. This is a 4-hour chart. And what that means is that each one of these dotted vertical lines represent a week's worth of activity, 4 hours in each candle. Now, this gives you a picture back to the beginning of November. I'm recording this the day after Christmas, 2019, the 26th of December, but going all the way back to the 11th or 12th of November week. What happened was that New Zealand decided to raise its interest rates, and you can see that the Australian dollar had been doing pretty well against the Kiwi here. It had been going up pretty much. Progress in China trade talks, etc. At least there was some good chop, and it wasn't, in specific decline. But when New Zealand announced that Tuesday afternoon, evening, that they were going to raise interest rates compared to Australia, boy, the money flows really began. Now, notice that you don't have to get in on one of these wicked drops. This is a 4-hour period, as we said, but even in this particular template, which is our 3 events template with the chandelier, support and resistance, with moving averages, the 12, the 24, and the 50 EMA, what we've got is this red star once we get the breakdown, and then we kind of wait for the pullback. Now, this pullback was only into the 12 EMA, but this would have been a fantastic place for our entry. And you can see right here that over a period of the next 3 weeks, we had a significant decline in the value of the AUD dollar versus the New Zealand currency. All the way down here, 241 pips over a period of just 3 weeks. So as a result of that, patience is a virtue. You can swing trade these currencies with good result, and you don't have to start with big dollar amounts. For example, you can trade the Forex for as little as 10 cents a pip with Forex.com in any case. If you have an account worth $500 or $600, 10, 20 cents a pip, you can grow your account little by little. There's plenty of room for error if you goof up on your first try. So also growing a small account into something larger is perfectly possible in the Forex. And in fact, compared to any of the futures accounts and the E-minis, where the base value even for the NASDAQ is $5 a tick, it can be a significant difference in your risk-reward ratios. Okay, so what we've got here in this particular area where we suggested an entry was preferable, we would have to also check out what the difference would be on a 4-hour chart in terms of stop-loss levels versus anything that we would do scalping-wise. Now, you certainly don't want to make your stop-loss 50 or 100 pips. That's ridiculous. But on the other hand, it doesn't, if you get in on the pullbacks, it doesn't have to be extraordinarily large. So let's just take a look here and see what it would be if we were to have entered here back up to the blue line is, which is our 24 EMA, is 25 pips or so. So, depending upon whether you entered at this level or you just were sharp-eyed about it and then perhaps dropped down to a lower time frame chart to get the entry, I would say something along the lines of a 20 pip stop is a perfectly reasonable amount, especially if you're trading as I said, 10 or 20 cents a pip, or even up to $1 a pip. You could have a $20 loss on a $1 per pip contract, and it wouldn't break the bank even on a $500 account. So bottom line is, if it decides it's just going to take off and go and blast through the chandelier and everything else, you're not going to be completely blowing your account, at least not in this particular situation, when it's pretty clear that the Australian dollar is losing value against a dollar whose currency has raised its interest rates significantly above the norm. Okay, so now we've taken a look at our 3 events indicator. Let's switch over. I wanted to show you quickly about some of the new settings I've suggested. I'm going to put this Super GMMA Quick up on the wall. Now, these extra lines you see are because it repaints the session times, but let's just switch out of that. Now we're back in business here. And bottom line, here is our same November situation. We did have this situation here in the early part of November in that week before the interest rate announcement was made. You're probably going to stay out of the market until you find out what the news is all about. Now we have the pullback, and once again we're pulling back into the bands. Now what I've done with this particular template is to change the settings. These are longer time frame settings here. Let's take a look by right-clicking, going to our indicators list. I'll bring that over from my second screen, and you can see I've added some moving averages here. This first one, a 30, a 35, and so forth, all the way on up to our typical 50 moving average. So those are our longer term kind of bands that we'd like to preserve, and we don't obviously want to go up into them or for certain penetrate the highest line, the 50 EMA. And then we've added some shorter ones, and instead of a 12, let's see what we've got here. We have, in this particular case, 6 running up to a 15. So these are by 3. So 6, 9, 12, and 15. And you can see here, you feel perfectly comfortable. You're hardly even getting through the 15 at all the way down to this area. It isn't until you get to here that you say, uh-oh, maybe we've got a turnaround coming. But even then, you can see over the last couple of weeks, we've just chopped around down here at the base of the price bars. So bottom line is, on our Super GMMA Quick, this really helps me to see what the various values are and where we're headed. And also we have now put our MACD here. We've added our RSI also, and you can see here, which is that plunge point I talked about before where our entry could go. You can see here that this pulled back in our RSI, but only up to the bands, the 45-55 on this RSI 14, and never was able to get above it. So through this whole period, there's never even a challenge to the trade. No reason to get out at all until we get over to this area where you can see that now we have that breach of our 45-55 band, and also a quick uptick. Now notice the reason these are so helpful to us, these longer term, you can imagine these are longer term sellers. These are longer term investors. That's how you can read these lines. They're still selling, even though there's been some compression here. There is no upward tick of the long-term moving averages, no turnover, no crossover of those lines. So this is simply a fake out, and even so, and on a one-day kind of a scalp, you might be able to make some money on this trade. It's an opportunity to exit your other trade rather than to enter a new one until you see these bands and these bands in concert. So I hope your Super GMMA Quick tour has been a successful one. I'm going to add that template to our Dropbox account, and down below this video you'll see an opportunity to send me shoot me an email at fxfortunehunter.com. There will be a link so that if you'd like to get involved with any of these templates and indicators, you can surely do that. The cost is nothing, free to everybody who wants to sign up. And if you're new to this, take a look at that great book on Kindle, just an easy read for you to get started. The Amazing Sealander Flytrap Forex Trading System. So thanks for watching. Comment if this has been helpful. Like our videos and subscribe to the channel if you would. We have a number of new members. Welcome aboard, and good trading to everyone. So let's get some pips.